Would you be able to share with us a really good customer use case of someone that you've worked with so that we've got an example of what good can look like?
Absolutely. So one which is close to my heart because I was personally involved in it was some work that we did with Vodafone and their Voxy brand. The reason I really like it as an example is that it shows a certain way to start the process and not taking too much risk, but actually to have something which is directly customer impacting. So what we've launched with Voxy is a Gen AI driven chatbot. I think all of us probably had bad experiences with chatbots in the past. Gen AI offers a really amazing opportunity to make them much more conversational, much more value add in terms of the information that we pass back. It was, to a certain extent, quite risky to go forward with something that was customer facing. So what we really focused on was building the right checks and balances in place to make sure that we were really confident in what we were going to deploy and that it was going to be materially better than the experience that existed at that point in time. Where we've got value from that is in lots of different places. One is the experience that we've actually created. So we've seen a significant uplift in containment. So that's the number of customers that ask a question, we recognize correctly what they're actually asking, and then we present back the information they need so they don't need to then talk to somebody. So the experience off the back of that is a significant improvement. Also, we're seeing intent classification, so this is that understanding of the question that's being asked. We were very poor there previously, and now we're upwards of 90% accuracy in terms of understanding the question. And obviously, it's quite difficult for a chatbot to operate successfully if it doesn't know what you're asking in the first instance. So we've got a really good kind of baseline there that's been deployed. Feedback from customers has been great so far, but it also acts as a starting point and a staging point for what comes next. So one of the key learnings from us through that was that we started with something that was deliverable within 6 months. So from having the idea to actually deploying something, it was a pretty fast process, and it was the first Gen AI use case deployed within the UK for Vodafone. But we then have a set of 5 other use cases that are direct kind of follow-ons. So we're looking more broadly at help and support within the website. We're looking at how Toby, which is the main chatbot, can improve in the future. So we're taking all of those learnings as we pass it through. And what we've seen across, I guess, the difference between organisations that are in that POC purgatory versus scale, one of the key underpins, and it's second in terms of importance, is flexibility within the architecture. So it's being comfortable that I know the tech's changing and it's changing fast, but my architecture is flexible enough and my procurement processes are flexible enough that I can take that into account as I move forward. The other big learning was the importance of synthetic data for testing. So Gen AI, by its nature, is non-deterministic, meaning that I don't always get the same answer. That's quite a difficult process for businesses to get on board with, because if I'm the CEO, when I ask a question, it comes back with 3 different answers for the 3 different times I ask. Which one is right? And I might prefer one compared to the others. Synthetic data is a massive unlocker to be able to go through that process and then help the business understand that it's okay that it can come back with slightly different responses, because the conversational nature of it is a much, much better experience overall. So it's a good example of start small, have a clear view as to how I want to progress in the future. But I like to talk about interventions rather than use cases. So smaller kind of pieces of work that then build to something which is of greater value in the future. So it's a really good example of how to approach the problem.
I can share a story from one of our clients in the energy trading business and how we've helped them with demand forecasting. So AI is really not a new kid on the block when it comes to energy trading. So they've been using, clients in this industry have been using machine learning for a long time to actually predict the prices and predict demand. This particular client, they wanted to improve their demand forecasting and really impact the P&L by 40-50% in terms of growth. They also wanted to predict or be able to predict their customer retention. So whereas in the past that we've used machine learning to actually label the data to predict the prices, we actually used reinforcement learning, which helped us again to forecast that demand and actually led to 50% growth on their P&L.